morning, Niklas.
Morning.
How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
That was a fantastic presentation
Thank
that
you.
you just did.
Thank you.
You know, you're taking a rather, like you said, kind of a dull subject in many ways, but you gave it such tremendous context that allowed us to understand how this would be beneficial to move things forward. With that, because you're looking at the management of thousands of assets every day, how do you see television in the coming, not 5 years, but 3 years?
Television as in, broadcasting or as a format per se. I'm not sure. I mean, the cord cutters will be more and more common, for every day you see cord cutters. If I look at my kids, they don't know what, linear TV is anymore. They do, but that's basically, they still want to, scroll back to see that part again. So they need catch up. So we will see, will it be linear? I'm not sure.
No. I think that kind of gets you to the point of, what is the migration path of linear? Is linear towards more digital? Of course it is.
Yeah.
Is linear more towards IP delivery? Of course it is.
Yes, it is.
So that said, is it linear?
Exactly. The concept of television is going to be more associated with the YouTube-based framework of providing, content. But a live show will be live. The Olympics will be.
Of course.
That will not be a program, but it's going to be live.
Yeah, and really what you bring up is the sheer fact of the definition of television. When you say live, it's a combination of personal, accessible content when you'd like, but also still programming sitting in front. So news events, live sporting events, that intermixed within the content of itself. Yeah. You've probably discovered this when it came to from Viaplay. I'm just fascinated because I've known Viaplay for how many years now? It seems like it's been running for...
I should know that, but I would say 10 years.
Yeah, comfortably like 10 years. Yeah. It's always been the predecessor to many different types of discussions when it came to OTT. You guys were out front doing that. Learning that process, especially from a technical standpoint, that has had a great influence on television as a whole. The broadcasters look at that. Netflix, or Amazon or Hulu or those, they're kind of new on many fronts. But what they're doing is capitalizing on the want and interest of the viewer to have the ease of that programming versus a videotape or a CD. Yeah. And so now they have that personal programming is there. And that's kind of the definition of what television is going to be. Is it video? Is it VTV? Yeah. Or TV? 3 years, looking back 3 years, we have come a long ways. Yeah. So if we accelerate that and enhance that for the next 3 years, I think what you're saying is absolutely correct. But the sheer volume of interest, accessibility on storage, ease, recognition of who the viewer is, this is what IMF really helps facilitate, isn't it? In some ways, especially for an OTT provider as we are, to be able to handle the sheer amount of content that will be produced the coming years. How do we handle that? How do we conform all the old stuff that we do have to a better format, to easier be shorten the time to market for any piece of content as quick as possible. We historically, transcoding an asset to a ready-to-use format could take hours, but the requirement will be it needs to be done right now, just in time, right now. So in order to do that, we need to get our archive in order and be able to do that, scalable, fast, all depending on if someone want to pay for it, of course. If it's worth the money to do that. But that's kind of structural, and as far as how that's going to be identified and then played back, and so structural on-time delivery, it can't be backed up on an ongoing basis. It has to be the call that comes in, and IMF would really be able to help facilitate that. That would be interesting. One of the questions that was really interesting to us too is, how do you see cooperation and competition amongst broadcasters, pay TV operators, and the streaming services in the next few years? Do you see kind of some handshakes going on? See some attaboys? What are you looking at?
I think we're going to see both, like a consolidation. We become more friendly to each other, of course, but I think content is going to be a key factor, that differentiating. That's what the competition is going to be. What type of content do you have? Do you have Game of Thrones, or do you have whatever show is cool right now?
Rectify.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen that HBO. I mean, it's pretty impressive. It's won all the awards at Sundance, and nobody's even seen it. It's kind of a creepy show.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is you're right. The access to the types of programming that certain viewers want to have, and demographics, and that builds up new programming models. And we kind of alluded to that earlier with that hybrid model of paid advertising news to on-demand channel selection.
Yeah.
You know, so it's going to be an interesting period. But workflow is kind of that unrecognized need now.
Yep.
Sheer volume of management. With Via Free. Now we've only got a few seconds left here, but Via Free is fascinating. How's that traction for you in the marketplace with Via Free?
I think it's, we're quite successful in.
It's advertising based.
Yeah, ad based. Basically the same content as on Viaplay, but instead of paying for it, you have to watch the ad before you can watch the show. Also, it's later on. I mean, it's not the blockbusters right now. It's kind of that's the rights windows is much later for the AVOD platform. But basically, it's the same content, and for us, it's just another platform or payment model.
That you're so ahead of it. I mean, this is where things are going and moving towards it. Being able to have your selection of content, but having the advertising model set around it is, back to that hybrid model. Niklas, thank you for taking the moment and talking with me.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.